Hi my dear students, very good morning. Welcome back to my class. Today I am going to explain the tissues. Already we started this topic, students. I am going to give the continuation of the previous lesson now, previous class. Here, present we are discussing about the plant tissues. So, children, what do you mean by the tissues? A group of cells unite to perform similar function is tissues. So, the function of the tissues and their mode of organization is completely differ from plant to animal. Now, we are concentrating on the plant tissues. Children, plant having two types of tissues. What are those? In plants, there are two types of tissues: meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Okay. Under meristematic tissue, we discussed three types. What are those? Apical, lateral, intercalary meristematic tissues we discussed so far. Permanent tissue is again divided into two types, children: simple and complex. Simple and complex. Under simple, three more are there: parenchyma, collenchyma, and the last one is sclerenchyma. Under complex, two more are there: xylem and phloem. These are the mode of organization of tissues in the plant cell. Let me give the differences between meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic sense, here the tissues having the capability of the cells are having the capable of dividing. So the cells which are present in the particular tissue, they will be continuously dividing. Okay, and permanent tissue, they lose the quality of division. So they are incapable of division. So permanent tissue obviously comes from meristematic tissue. Apical, lateral, intercalary, these are the different types of meristematic tissue. Permanent tissue, simple and the complex. Under simple, we discussed parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Let us see the differences between the collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Here in the parenchyma, students, cells are thin-walled. Cells are thin-walled. Only primary wall is present. Only if this, let us assume that this is the cell. The cell wall is so thin, only primary wall is present. In the collenchyma, thick primary wall at corners. So, for example, this is the cell. They will be having the thick primary wall at their corners. And sclerenchyma, thick walled is there. Okay, here cells loosely arranged. Here in the parenchyma, cells are loosely arranged. There are more interstitial spaces are present in between the cells. Cells were compactly arranged. Cells where there is no much gap between the two different cells. Interstitial spaces are absent. Cells are compactly arranged. So, sclerenchyma. Next, cells are living, nucleus is present. So, at the center of the cell, they will be having the nucleus. Hence, we will call those particular cells as living cells. In the collenchyma also, nucleus is present. These are living cells. Living, here also living cells are present. In the sclerenchyma, nucleus is absent. So, we will be calling this particular collenchyma cells as dead cells. The shape, they are spherical, polygonal, oval in shape, rectangular in shape, or like rod shaped structures or cells are present. Shapes are variable, elongated. Mostly the cells of the sclerenchyma are elongated cells are present. Many intercellular spaces are present. As I said, they were loosely packed. Intercellular spaces are absent in the collenchyma as well as in the sclerenchyma. Cells are vacuolated, so they'll be having the vacuole in the cells of our parenchyma tissue, whereas vacuole is absent in the collenchyma as well as sclerenchyma. These are the differences of our simple tissue like parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. See, this is a diagrammatic representation showing differences between parenchyma tissue, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. The first one, see, these are the cells present in the parenchyma. So, they'll be loosely packed. So, interstitial space are present in the parenchyma. Cells are living as it is having the nucleus at the center and primary wall is present. Okay, thin cell wall is present in the parenchyma. So, when come to the case of collenchyma, cells were tightly arranged. So, no interstitial spaces are present. Primary wall is thick. Okay, especially it will be thick at the corners and interstitial spaces are absent. And let us come to the sclerenchyma. So, primary wall is very thin. Interstitial spaces are absent. Cells were compactly arranged. There are two types of cells were present like sclerites and fibers in the sclerenchyma tissue. Okay, sclerites and fibers. And this is the cross section view of the tissues as well as this one is the longitudinal view of the tissues. See the three basic types of plant tissues, children: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma as said. So, fiber lumen is present. So, we can also call this cells of sclerenchyma as a stone cells, cell wall with lignin. Okay. Now, let us talk about complex permanent tissue. Okay. So, the second type of permanent tissue, that is complex. These are made up of more than one type of cells which combine together to work as a unit. So, if anybody asks you what is the major difference between the simple tissue and the permanent and the complex tissue, means the answer is, in the simple tissue the cells are uniform. Almost the tissue is made up of similar tissue. So, again it is going to perform simple one task. But in the case of complex tissue, it is having more than one type of cells performing different functions. That is the first difference or reason between the simple and as well as complex tissue. These are made up of more than one type of cells which combine together to work as a different cells will combine together to work as a single unit. Okay. I hope you all are following me. Next, they transport water and food material to various parts of the plant. The major function of the complex tissue, children, transportation. What is that? Transportation. So, they will be transporting food as well as water in the plant. These are of two types. What are those? Xylem and the phloem. There are two types of complex tissues. What are those, children? Xylem and phloem. Right. Let us talk about the vascular tissue. This is the diagrammatic representation of the vascular tissue. And see, xylem, phloem, and in between the xylem and the phloem, it is having the vascular cambium. See, this particular part is xylem, students, and this particular part is phloem. At the center, what it is there? At the center, in between the xylem and the phloem, we can see vascular cambium. So both xylem and phloem combine together to form a vascular bundle. Vascular bundle. Let us see. See, xylem and phloem. Children, xylem consists of tracheids and xylem vessels. Okay, the main types of the cells which are present in the xylem are xylem vessels and tracheids. In the case of phloem, it will be having the sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. First, let us talk about the xylem. It is a complex tissue, helps in the transportation of the water, and so xylem in the sense it helps in the transportation of water to the different parts of the body. It also helps in replacing the water lost during the transpiration and the photosynthesis. You know, transpiration is one of the process of excretion for catalyzed by the or our plants. So the loss of water through the leaves is transpiration. You know, photosynthesis is one of the food making process. Generally plants is going to synthesize food material by using water and carbon dioxide. Water and carbon dioxide. So it is the xylem. It is also helps in the replacing the water lost during the transpiration as well as the photosynthesis. Very important. Now let us discuss the components of the xylem. Already in the beginning of the complex tissue I said that this tissue is made up of more than one type of cells performing and they will be worked together as a unit. So let us see what are those components present in the xylem. Tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fibers. Okay. Tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. See, these are the tracheids, students. Elongated one. Okay. Next. This one is the xylem fiber. Xylem fiber. This one, students, xylem parenchyma. This is the vessels, xylem vessels. 4 components: xylem vessels, tracheids, parenchyma and xylem fiber. Now let us see about the phloem. This tissue is found in the vascular plant. Its function is to transport sugars and other food materials. So the word phloem in the sense it helps in the transportation of the food from the leaves to the different body parts of the plant. Xylem and the phloem together forms vascular bundle. Vascular bundle. Okay. Let us see different components present in our phloem. Sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and the phloem fiber. See, this one is the phloem tissue and it is having the sieve plates with the sieve tubes. Companion cells are present and this is the phloem parenchyma. Companion cells, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers and sieve tubes are present in the phloem. Now let us see how vascular bundle forms. Xylem and the phloem together to form vascular bundle. See the circular representation of the vascular bundle. Okay, so this particular part is epidermis. Okay, at the center they will be having the vascular bundle like this. Okay, vascular bundle. The center part is pith. Center part is pith. Here, see, this one is the epidermis, phloem, this part is xylem. See, for example, this, if you laugh the thing, this one is the phloem and this part is the xylem. Okay, the place between the phloem and the xylem is called procambium. Procambium. So the connection between the two things is called interfascicular parenchyma. What is this, children? Interfascicular parenchyma. This entire thing is called, okay, vascular bundle. Vascular bundle. So this is the vascular bundle. The xylem and phloem, children. You know, xylem is made up of xylem parenchyma, what? Vessels, tracheids and xylem fiber. This side, seed cells are present, companion cells are present, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. So these are the different parts in the tree. So this is the root part, trunk and the branch part of the tree. So see, let us see the xylem and the phloem. Okay, this wood part is showing the presence of vascular bundles in the particular region. Vascular bundles in the plant organs. See, this is the root, stem and the leaf. Okay, so for example, this is the plant having the root, stem and the leaves. So this is the leaf is showing the so the type of arrangement of vascular bundle. Okay, so in the stem part it will be like this, root part like this. Okay, dermal tissue, ground tissue and vascular tissue. See, at the center they used to be in the root, so they'll be forming the ring like thing, and so in the leaves they'll be like this. Next, monocot root and dicot root. In what the type of arrangement of this different tissues, complex tissue in the monocot root and dicot root here. Let us see, children. See, you'll be having the unicellular root hair. Root hair is present, and the next to this it is having the epiblema. This entire portion is called cortex. Okay, this is the vascular bundle. Let me explain. See, here these are the phloem. This part is xylem. Xylem is meta and protoxylems are present. This particular part is pith. Okay, and this is the pericycle. This is the arrangement in case of monocot root. And let me explain in the dicot root. Root hair, as trees, epidermis, cortex, pericycle, phloem and the xylem, pith. But small difference is there in the arrangement of the vascular bundle. See here, xylem, phloem. Xylem and phloem. Alternative bands are present. But here, see, of course here also be like this. This particular part is the xylem and these are the phloem. Okay. Dicot stem and monocot stem. Next. So far we completed complex tissue arrangement in the case of dicot root as well as monocot root, and dicot stem it is, see, as it is epidermal hair, epidermis, hypodermis, endodermis, pericycle, phloem and xylem. In the case of dicot stem, monocot stem it is, see here, epidermis, hypodermis, cortex, bundle sheath is present, phloem, xylem and the ground tissue. animal tissues. So far we discussed the plant tissues. Now let us start animal tissues. First of all, levels of organization we have to discuss. See children, different atoms will combine to form a molecule. Then macromolecules will get organelles, cells, tissues, organ system, and completely finally we'll get a organism. See how a multicellular organism forms. Let me discuss. You know, first of all, different atoms were there. Then they'll be combining to form molecules. Next, biomolecules. Next, cell organelles. Cell forms. Different cells will form tissues. Again, different tissues is going to form organ. Next, organ system and organism. Finally, we'll get a complete individual, that is organism. See, atoms, molecules, biomolecules, cell organelles, cells, tissues, organ system, and finally organism. See, atomic level. Let me explain about the level of organization. Okay, atomic level. Different atoms are defined as the smallest units of element that still maintains the property of the element. So these are the small units of the element, such as carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Atoms are, what are the smallest elements? Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Molecular level. Atoms combine to form a molecules which can have entirely different properties than the atoms they contain. So here different atoms will combine to form a molecule. These are having the different properties when compared to the atom. What are those children? Water, carbohydrates, DNA or proteins you can say. Cellular level. Cells are smallest units of the life. Cells are enclosed by the membrane, cell wall, and the multicellular organism often performs specific functions like muscle cells, skin cells, neurons, fat cells, everything. Tissue level. Tissues are a group of cells with a similar function, muscle, epithelium, or connective tissue. Organ level. Organs are two or more types of tissues that work together to complete the specific task. Heart, liver, and stomach. Organ system level. An organ system is a group of organs that carries out more generalized set of functions. Digestive system, circulatory systems. Organism levels. An organism has several organ systems that functions together like human. So in the human, so many organ systems are there, like excretory system, nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, muscular, hormone system. In this way, so many different systems will function together to form a complete organism. Right? This is the levels of organization. And see, for example, how this is the stomach, right children? This is the stomach. Let me explain. Stomach is mainly consists of different types of tissues. Smooth muscle tissue, loose connective tissue, nervous tissue, blood, columnar epithelium. So different types of cells, different types of tissues will combine to form a complete organ, that is stomach. Like, let us see different types of tissues which are present in the animals. Although our body parts are diverse in the both structure, function, and they are constructed from 4 basic tissues. Actually, total our body is made up of different tissues, right? So they'll be having the 4 basic tissues. What are those? Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular, nervous. What are those, children? Epithelial, connective tissue, muscular, and the final one is nervous. Final one is nervous tissue. So what are the basic 4 types of tissues what we have in our body? Epithelial, connective, muscular, nervous. Let us explain about the epithelial tissue. Covers the body, lines the cavities of the body, and composes the glands. Almost the surface is mainly covered by the epithelial tissue. Cavities it forms even the glands. Connective tissue. Connective tissue connects and supports the structures of the body, provides structural support and binding the organs together. It is giving the structure and stability to the organism, and it is also helps in the binding of the different organs in our whole body. Muscular tissue has the unique capability to contact or shorten, provides movement and heat for the body. So it gives because of this muscular tissue only we can able to show movements, and we can able to protect ourselves from different dangerous things such as, and we are keeping our body warm with this habit only. Nervous tissue composed of specialized cells that respond to the environment by detecting, processing and coordinating information. It's a special tissue cells which are helps in the process of detecting, processing and the coordinating of the information. So we people become sensible due to the presence of nervous tissue. Let us discuss these tissues individually, children. Classification of animal tissue. Basically in the animal, epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous tissues are there. So under epithelial, 4 types, students: squamous, cuboidal, columnar, stratified. Epithelial tissues divide into 4 types: squamous, cuboidal, columnar and stratified. Under connective tissue, so many types are there: cartilage, bone, tendon, ligament, blood, adipose, areolar. What are those? Cartilage, bone, tendon, ligament, blood, adipose and the areolar. Muscular, striated muscular tissue, smooth muscle, cardiac. It is again 2 types: striated, smooth and the cardiac. Nervous tissue. See, 4 types of tissue. This is the connective, epithelial, muscular, nervous tissues. Tissues in the human body. Epithelial covering or lining the tissues, connective joints and stores and supports. So simply connective tissue it supports and as well as it mainly helps in the joining purpose. Muscular, internal and external movement. Nerves conduct electrical signals and helps in the movement of the signals from one cell to other cell. That is, next let us discuss about epithelial tissue. Lines the body surface, cavities, ducts and the tubes. So this epithelial tissue mainly helps in the lining of the surface, cavities, ducts and the tubes. One free surface face a body fluid or the environment. Okay. So the covering or the protective tissues in the animal body are called epithelial tissue. See children, the covering or protective tissue in the animal body is called epithelial. See, this particular part is called simple squamous epithelium. They'll be having the basement membrane also. Let us see the characteristics of epithelial tissue. Cells are tightly packed without any intercellular spaces. See, these are the epithelial cells. They were closely arranged. There were no intercellular spaces. And epithelium is usually separated from underlying tissue by an extracellular fibrous basement membrane. So children, so it is having the basement membrane. Above the basement will be having the what? Epithelial cells. They were very compactly arranged. No intercellular spaces are present. These are the characteristics of the epithelial tissue. Let us discuss once again about epithelial. Different epithelia shows different structures and correlate with their unique functions. For example, cells lining the blood vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of substances occurs through a selective permeable surface. There is a simple flat kind of epithelium. This is called simple squamous epithelium. Mostly it is available in the blood vessels. It is available in blood vessels and or in the lung alveoli. Lung alveoli. So you know, alveoles are the structural and the functional units of the lungs, right? Where absorption secretion occurs, as in the inner lining of the intestine, tall epithelial cells are present. This columnar epithelial facilitates the movement across the epithelial barrier. Cuboidal. See, under this you will be having the squamous, columnar, cuboidal epithelial cells. See, cuboidal with the cube-shaped cells are present, forming the linings of the kidney and ducts of salivary glands, where it provides a mechanical support. This is about the epithelial. So let us talk about the squamous epithelial cells. Are thin, flat form, delicate lining. Cells are like tiles on the floor. See how the cells are looking. They are the squamous epithelial cells with the basement membrane. Okay, cells were tightly arranged. No interstitial spaces are present. Squamous epithelial cells. See how it is looking. So it is looking like tiles arranged on the floor. Location of the squamous epithelial. Mostly this squamous epithelial present in the, see, inner linings of the blood vessel, inner linings of the alveoli, inner linings of the mouth, esophagus. Mostly squamous epithelium present in the blood vessels, inner linings of the alveoli, stomach, mouth and esophagus. See. Right, students? And epithelial tissue is mainly helps in the formation of coverings as well as the protection, and it is again of different types, students. What are those? Squamous epithelium, cuboidal, columnar epithelium cells are present. So these are the different tissues which are present in the human body: epithelial, connective, muscle and the nervous tissue. Okay, students, that's all for today. Let's continue the same topic in the next class. Until that, thank you all. Thank you so much.